What's up, guys? Nolan here, and yes, this guy is real, and Arena will be coming before the next wipe, but we'll get to that in a minute. First, I wanted to say, over the past 4 days, I started showing my face. I got to play Arena a lot. I got to meet Nikita as well as a lot of BSG, met a ton of you guys, shot a minigun, watched my friend drive a tank over a car, play Arena on stage in front of thousands of people, go to some crazy parties, and in between, got to hang out with the who's who of Tarkov Creators. None of what I'm talking about would have happened if it wasn't for Monarchs 13, Ronin, Kingman, and Pray for Death, absolutely, but also Sinan, Nitroman, and the Sun Tzu in general. I owe my renewed faith in humanity, basically, and all of this juicy content to these people. So to get started, let's get Arena out of the way, and we'll start with the bad stuff. In case you guys didn't see it, and you're kind of living on a rock if you haven't, there was some moments of desync during the Arena tournament. Landmark shot Ash in the back with a full mag, and it did no damage. Ash didn't hear anything, nothing happened, he had no idea he was even being shot at. The second day, Willers also shot Taze in the face 3 or 4 times with SSA, and it did nothing. There was absolutely some cases of desync in the build that we played at TwitchCon on the stage setup. Now at TwitchCon, there were a couple different setups. There was the stage that had 10 setups, and then there was another, I think 20 off stage, and there were different maps depending on what set of 10 you played on. Generally speaking, I saw way more issues, which unfortunately in this case were the ones on stage. There was audio issues with those way more often. It just seemed like stuff happened to go more wrong with the one on stage. BSG said that it was in theory a more stable but older build that they decided to go with, and the newer builds are already good to go, while also including newer tech updates, kill cams, and inspection windows for the loadouts. Continuing with what I see as bad is the inability to switch loadouts mid-game. Once you pick a loadout and get into a match, that is your loadout for that match. You can drop and of course loot guns and equipment, but you can't change anything yourself mid-game. Personally, I don't like that, and I think it will cause players to leave mid-game when they just get put up against opponents with much better structured loadouts, and it's just, it's just annoying. Sometimes you'd like to be, you'd like to switch it up a little bit. The other team doesn't end up playing the way that you thought they would, or it turns out this loadout that you wanted to try out just isn't that good, and then you end up having to sit through it. Again, I think it's going to make a lot of people leave matches, so hopefully if you leave a match, there's a pretty good punishment for it. Ideally, I would like to be able to switch my loadout, however that might be set up. I would like to be able to switch my loadout mid-game, but BSG said there is no plan to add that in the future. Now, finishing up with the bad, and this seemed to be just an issue when playing on the machines for the main stage, was the audio. There were many instances of the people playing in the tournament only having, I think it would be mono audio. You don't get directional audio. Sometimes it was stereo, but it was like just directly into the ears. Like you wouldn't be able to tell where it was coming from. You just have a basic general idea, right or left. And sometimes even it would be backwards. Like if it was coming from your right in the game, it was actually coming from the left and stuff like that. It was actually really bad. Also, having played in the tournament myself, I can tell you all I could hear was the announcers during the game. While sometimes I could hear basically just my own footsteps, and they weren't even like where they should be. They were sort of up and to the right. So that's why on many occasions you saw players, myself included, sort of just kind of wandering around and not realizing somebody was right behind them or next to them because they could not hear them at all. And it's also why you saw a lot of people just running crazy routes and hoping to get behind the other team, because unless someone was watching that specific route, there wouldn't have been anything stopping you from doing that. You would have just ran up behind or right up next to people. I had no directional sound whatsoever. Because that is obviously such a major issue and not everyone had that problem, I'm chalking that, of course, up to the headsets and the systems that they chose to use with the tournament stage setups. That's why you saw both of the final teams bringing out their own headsets, a lot of them their own keyboards and their own mouse, for the finals, because the ones they had at the start were just problem ridden. There were also situations where the players who brought their own mice and keyboards had them disconnect mid-game. I know Willer's keyboard disconnected mid-game, and I know Gingy's mouse disconnected twice. The tournament had some interesting moments, but the gameplay that came from it was absolutely not even remotely realistic. Every single player had problems with audio or equipment while playing at some point or another. All in all, it ended up being a pretty cool experience. People got to see the gist of how it played, and I did get to interview a lot of the players. I got to talk to Landmark, I got to talk to Willers, I got to talk to Gino, I got to talk to Gingy, Clean, Fudge, Abney, Stankrat, Sheaf, pretty much anybody that I could, get my hands on, I was able to talk to. Some of them I was able to interview, and some of them I actually have some pretty good recordings from some lab mics that I brought with me, so I might do something with that later. But for now, it really is across the board. Everybody did enjoy the gameplay when they just thought about the gameplay. Obviously, it was the audio issues and stuff like that, but when you think about it, that wasn't the game. That was, like I said, that was the headset or something going on with the keyboard. It was something that was on location. It wasn't the game itself. And we'll get into that. I am going to use that to talk about the rest of the subject that is Arena here. I'm also going to be basing this off of my time being able to play in the tournament myself, which was completely random. I did want to thank and shout out Gino for the invite as the second day there. Hutch MF no-showed the second day, and I was just standing there at the stage. So within literally 5 minutes of that first game starting, I kid you not, guys, the countdown was 5 minutes when I looked up. He walked up to me and was like, hey, do you want to play? And then I pointed over at the other PCs. I'm like, yeah, I'll play later. I'm going to watch you guys first. He's like, no, do you want to play? And he points to the stage. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay, I guess so. Walk up. I had just enough time to set up my stream. I had just enough time to mess with a couple of little settings here and there. And then I think I put out like one Twitter video or something like that, and we were done. We were on the go. So if I had known that we were playing Bay 5, that's something, it just went too quick. I didn't know that we're playing Bay 5. I would have chosen another loadout, but I just picked something that I knew, and I was destroying people with that kit, with the Lapua kit the day before. And as you saw, I did have a couple cool clips with it. Let's be honest, this is my fault. I picked the fucking sniper rifle on the fucking Bay 5.
Don't say that.
Hey, no, hey, we're chilling, bud. We're chilling.
This thing, when I do have people in front of me at one shots, but it's not happening much.
I just want to fight, man.
Yeah.
I keep running and not fighting anyone.
Oh, they're coming. No, what Reek is there? Nice jet.
Shit. How did I not kill him? Fuck.
Oh! Shit. Sean? Play together. He's still alive. Play together. Play together.
Where are you? Where are you?
I'm mid.
I hear footsteps. Let's fucking go! Let's fucking go, dude! Let's go! Fuck yes, man. Let's go. Fuck yes. Fuck yes.
Kills, Jesus Christ!
Yes,
Let's get this. Let's get this. Let's get this.
100%.
Newsflash, this fucking kit fucking rocks, man. Newsflash, man.
Hey,
Fuck
you're
yes.
fucking owning right now, bud.
Now, as I started out on the good, I will say, although some loadouts are better suited for certain maps, they all can find their place in each map if you put yourself in the right place. Talking about me accidentally choosing the AXMC for the smallest and closest quarter map, I had to stick to the long sight lines and get very lucky, but when you do put the right weapons from each class in the right place, you can find success. All of the loadouts seem to be pretty balanced, as you might see that the AXMC class being overpowered because of the AP ammunition in the AXMC, as well as PBP in the Vector that you have as a secondary, but I had an optic that just wasn't that great. Slow using meds and just very little in general. No nades, one magazine, level 4 armor, and no helmet. Both guns could get the job done, of course, when you put them in the perfect position, but not when they are not in that perfect position. You get just swamped. And that seemed to be the case with a lot of the loadouts. The loadouts that you're seeing are only some of the total amount of loadouts available just from Arena, as these were just level 30 accounts. There will be many more loadouts, some of which we could actually see with the current build. As we know from before, loadouts will be able to be found in the base game and then used in Arena. Those will be like the extra ones, or you can call them favorites or something like that. They'll have their own category where you'll find those. And also some of those might be limited time use. You will also be able to use your base game kits that you build yourself in Arena. However, there is a line. In the most important of ranked matches, you will only have access to loadouts, BSG balance, and have set for those games. So everyone is on the same playing field, and that also accounts for PMC skills as well. Those will be limited in some way. I talked directly to the designer who worked on it, and he seemed adamant about that, but there was an issue with translation and just understanding each other. It seemed like we were kind of going around in a circle on like the specific things, like the how specifically this would work and the levels and whatnot. It's possible you wanted to hold some of this back too, but it's just kind of, like I said, I'm doing the best I can with what I have, so I couldn't get more specific on that. The general gist, however, is that the most competitive modes will be structured appropriately in order to be competitive. There won't be too many loose ends there it's going to be loadouts that BSG pick, and your skills are going to be either limited or even in some way. It's going to be balanced. Now, and apparently some form of those ranked games, but not all of them, and of course all unranked modes, you will be able to use your base game kits. However, there will be a balance in the matchmaking in multiple ways. Your skill will put you in a certain rank, which we believe to be based on just wins. So more wins you get, the better your rank is. I want to say that's like the letter rank that you get, like the A+, B+, all that stuff. Then there's the gear score when you use a base game kit. Depending on the weapon, ammo, armor, and meds that you have access to in the loadout that you are choosing to use from the base game, you will have a gear score that will be matched within a range to the people that you match with. So generally speaking, there will be some kind of number attached to each item in game, and then when you choose that item, that is leveling up your gear score. So if you end up with 45 points in total, you'll end up playing against people that are around 45 points in total. And again, that is all the unranked modes and I guess some of the ranked modes, but meanwhile, the highest competitive of the ranked modes will not allow you to use your base game kits in those modes. You have to pick from the ones that BSG are going to select for that mode so that everybody is on the same playing field. Also, you will be able to earn rubles in both ranked and unranked. The maps flow well and have lots of crazy little strategies. We played Sawmill, Bay 5, Equator, and Air Pit. Sawmill wasn't shown on stream at all, and I don't have footage of it, but it played well. I liked it personally, and it was for sure the biggest map. Air Pit was up there in size as well. It was definitely one of the bigger maps. There were some pretty significant sightlines, and you could easily run into CQC if you just ran up the middle with the plane or the sides with the stores. Equator was a right-in-your-face map with practically instant fights, and same goes for Bay 5. However, there is a lot of little height changes and stuff like that on Bay 5 with the shipping containers where you'd be pretty much on top of each other, but you'd have one or two shipping containers right between you, so you would still have to come around those corners. So it's definitely interesting. There was definitely an interesting dynamic of you being close together at the start, but you have just different sort of, lack of a better word, terrain, or there would be obstacles would be a better word that were in your way. Lots of little ways for you to sneak around. This is absolutely not one of your normal competitive games that have just a few lanes. There were lots of little avenues to go around. Now, BSG have confirmed that Arena will be releasing before the next wipe in early December. There's also talks of more tests popping up because there is a Twitch Rivals tournament for Escape from Tarkov in November. That's already been announced. I can't imagine they do the base game when Arena is so close. I bet they'll bring in streamers to play Arena online at their own houses for the first time, but that's just me. That is not confirmed. All we know right now is that there is going to be a Twitch Rivals. It's going to be Escape from Tarkov. Either way, a Twitch Rivals for Tarkov is coming in November, so we'll see what pops up with that. Again, I bet they're going to figure out a way to do Arena. Now, on top of that, there will also be a LAN tournament in November hosted by BSG in Russia, in St. Petersburg, and I believe it will be the same people that tested it before with that professional team. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on that team right now. I'll put it up on screen. We'll see what happens there too. Then last but not least for Arena, we have Heavy Killa. Yes, he is real, and yes, you will be able to fight him with your friends in Arena. Along the lines of Killa being this more heavily geared, I'm wondering if they're going to do each boss like this, and also I'm wondering if they are going to bring it to the base game. The plan right now is to have him be in Arena only, but I immediately pushed to get him as a unique or chance spawn in the base game, and Nikita said we'll see. Basically, this is super fucking cool. Why not? Why not have a way for him to pop up in the base game? But, it does make sense for him to be this armored, this, kind of unique thing in Arena for people to go and experience. So we'll see what happens with that. Keep in mind, there's still a new boss coming in the next patch too. Maybe keep an eye out there too. We'll see. Speaking of next wipe, everything we see on the roadmap other than Streets expansion is either ready to go or will be for that wipe patch in December. That was confirmed by BSG. So that is your ammo being preloaded into mags for presets. That's your recoil rework, which is going to be a big one. The new armor plate and new armor hitboxes, obviously a big one. Have a couple of videos talking about that. Vaulting, finally, the new blind fire, bipods, and weapon mounting, so sniping in the PKM can be even scarier. The BTR on Streets we'll have to see since the Streets expansions are now delayed. It's possible the BTR is as well. Then we have the Lightkeeper services. That should be really cool. As far as we know, he'll be, turning into a real trader because he's going to have services. But, while we're on that subject, if we think about it, the services tab is something that Ragman has, and that's his clothing. thing. So I wonder if services can mean more than what we've seen so far. That would be interesting to find out. I think we should keep an eye on that. So yeah, left shoulder shooting should definitely could use that in arena this weekend. The RPD SCAR grenade launcher, essentially just the GL40 becoming able to be mounted on the SCAR. The SIG Spear, which I should have asked what caliber they're choosing. Stay tuned on Twitter. I'll ask tomorrow and tweet it. My guess is 308 because it's already in the game, but they could do it in 6.8, which is actually going to be gnarly. The 9A, 9.1, and the VSK 94, both the new 9x39 weapons. The new boss, which as it's supposed to be on streets, we'll see what happens there since the streets expansions are delayed, that he might be tied up into whatever that is. Achievements will be a thing. These are different than quests, and you will have to wait and see how crazy those are. A ton of balancing changes to mechanics of armor because of the armor plates and hitboxes, of course. Damage and movement are also going to be rebalanced. There's a couple changes coming up with that. Actually, what am I saying? There's a bunch of changes coming with those. We'll also see changes along with the leveling skill, weapon mastering, and all optics. Lots of tech stuff as we hope to see the netcode updates along with Unity 21 pop up into the game finally. Those were included in what BSG were saying is ready to go for the next patch. Or I should say, if they aren't already, they are completely expected to be ready. Then, last but not least, the new Matchmaker, which will get us into games much, much faster, and that was a direct quote. There's some stuff that I wasn't able to talk about. One of them is the new location, which all I can say is it's not Terminal. And, while we're on that subject, there's more that Nikita told both me and Airwing Marine, so make sure to go check out Airwing Marine's stuff. For some reason, I'm having trouble saying that, maybe because it's 1 a.m. when I'm recording this. So check out Airwing Marine's stuff, as it's likely he's got other info that I didn't get. The vast majority of these conversations were essentially in passing. The booth was chaotic. It was constantly busy with people wanting pictures with pretty much anybody that was having a conversation at any moment. And the tournament, the gameplay, it was very tough to get anything official. However, it did happen, and I have a lot more to share. Until then, though, for sure to stay tuned to Twitter and the Discord. As I said, there is going to be some other stuff that's going to be coming in, especially tomorrow, but I'm going to be traveling. So it's going to be, I'm not going to be able to put a video up on immediately. Hopefully I can get one up on Wednesday. We'll see what's going on with that. Otherwise, like if you did, sub for more, comment what you think. Check out my other channels for other games right here. Otherwise, thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. See you guys. All right, day 2 here. Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you enjoying your time at TwitchCon?
I'm not enjoying it at all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it just sucks.
It really sucks.
Yeah. Honestly, there's not a whole lot going on today anyway. That's pretty much it. That's it.